Natalie, thank you.
We know some of those students, Jed, this morning, they didn't have school, but they showed up to the school at about 8:30 this morning saying, what can we do to help?
Wow,
and
nice.
I just love that Oklahoma spirit always carries
Oklahoma
through.
standard.
Yes.
We see it every time.
Fortunately, it's a good day today. You know, we've been cold.
It's always clean and clear after the
Right
storm.
after.
That's the craziest thing.
You think about the weather we've come from. We were a chance of freezing drizzle on Friday, and then we started warming up a little bit Saturday. Sunday, you're thinking, is it going to warm up enough to have tornadoes? It didn't warm up a lot, but it warmed up just enough, and this is what happened late Sunday with multiple tornadoes. We have about 15 different tornadoes across Oklahoma. The count there, this is a preliminary count, but again, multiple tornadoes, the largest number of tornadoes in Oklahoma in a single day in February, and also for the entire month. So we brought it all together in one day. Just a wild, wild day with those tornadoes. We're going to kind of focus in on one of those that kind of formed just south of Oklahoma City near Norman, and that lifted right up toward the Shawnee area. Check out this video and listen in. This was Brandon Pennell and Jed Castles that was moving on in.
Big power flash. We're going to be right on the, if not the tornado, tremendous inflow winds. We've had multiple power flashes. Big power flash straight to my south. So if it is a tornado on the ground, it's going to be just to my south and has not crossed I-40 yet.
40, south of 40, big power flash.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, big power flash, big power flash.
His voice is gone. He was having trouble, but boy, tell you what, it was a wild night last night. These guys went from Texas into Oklahoma all the way almost to the Arkansas border chasing these storms. And listen, these storms were so difficult to chase. There was so much rain, it was heavy, the roads were wet, the winds were blowing all different directions, and there were tornadoes like all over the place, so it was really difficult. These guys just did a fantastic job. They knew exactly when to pivot and move from one storm to the next, and did such a great job covering these tornadoes that formed. Just a real rare and, again, a historic event as those storms formed up. And we kind of talked about this. Jim Gardner's been out. And as we look at the view here, this is a look at the debris tracks. So here's Norman, right there in the Lloyd Noble. So that's Norman right there along Highway 9. There's the track on that, lifted all the way up just north of Lake Thunderbird, over towards Stella, and moved again just to the north of the Shawnee area. So we had tornadoes that formed, one there, and again, that was the story from yesterday as those tornadoes were forming up. But again, this is the one that was developing near Shawnee. So you saw the power flashes. You don't necessarily see a tornado unless you do a little frame grab, and there it is right there. The frame grab shows the power flashing at that time. You see the tornado on the ground. So just a wild, wild day we had yesterday. So a historic tornado event in February. These are the most tornadoes we've had during the month of February. Yesterday, 2023 was 15. Previous record was 6 in 2009 and 6 in 1975. We also set records during the months of December of 2022, January of 2023. Now, the numbers are not that high, but we set an all-time record for both of those consecutively from December, January, February. Just a wild pattern that we're in right now as far as tornadoes. Will that continue? We'll wait and see. If it does, it's going to be a wild spring if we keep that going. Right now, here are the wind gusts from yesterday. 50, 60, 70, 80 mile per hour wind gust. There was one lone 111 mile per hour wind gust that Val had near the town of Hobart with that tornado that was forming up there. So crazy winds and crazy tornadoes across Oklahoma on one of your last days of February. Near Ada, we had a wind gust to 86, Eric a gust to 78, 77 in Hobart. Duncan, a 76 mile per hour wind gust. Hollis, a 75 mile per hour wind gust. Sulphur, Hinton, and Chickasha, you all were in that 65 to 70 range. Wild conditions across Oklahoma with those winds. But things have now settled down. Quieter start here this morning. 54 right now, northwest winds at 16. As we check your forecast today, bright sunshine on the way. If you have to do some cleanup today, got to get outside and do some work. Really, the conditions look great. 62 this morning, kind of warm here coming up this afternoon, up near 70. And as we check out that forecast the next 9 days, we'll warm it up to 76 tomorrow. So warm day coming up for your Tuesday. Then a cold front arrives, cooling things back off. Some 40s in here for Thursday, some rain. May end as a little snow, and then we start to warm it back up. 50s, some 60s, even your 70 by early next week.